So today I'm going to start off with, I have some crawfish here that I'm going to peel. I'm just going to separate the tail from the head and peel it. I'm also going to put a little bit of white onion in as well, maybe a little bit of green onion, and I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of Creole tomato. Alright, so to start with the onion, I'm going to take the head and the root and separate. In half. And I'm not going to even dice this whole half up because this is only a 3-egg omelet, so I'm only going to use maybe a quarter of the onion. And I'm not going to spice it up too much because the crawfish itself is seasoned from the boil. So some of that seasoning is going to come off inside your omelet, so you want to just go real light on it and let the flavors come together from there. Alright. Little bit of onion, not much. Alright. I'm also going to do a little green onion for color. This is a little bit of green onion I have left over. You use everything in your refrigerator if you could. That way you're wasting less. Alright, that's plenty right there. Alright. Alright, so next I'm going to peel some crawfish. Now I have a separate container for my peelings. I'm going to keep my tails on the side for now. And I'm going to start my saute off once I'm ready with a little bit of the onion, a little bit of olive oil, and I like to season in layers. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. I have some in the mill ready to roll. And I got a little bit of kosher salt. Really, this is sea salt. I use sea salt because the iodine level is lower, and it's harder to over salt things when you're using something with a lower iodine level. So that's my reasoning of using that. Alright, I'm gonna peel a few more crawfish. I got 3 eggs broken inside a 1/4 of a cup of milk. I'm gonna just lightly season it with black pepper and a little bit of salt. Like I said before, we're not gonna season it up too heavy, just because the crawfish is going to add a lot of spice to the whole omelet, so we're going to go real light. Alright, so as you can see, the eggs and the milk is well blended. All I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to start cooking. This is called mise en place, everything in this place. I have my onions cut, I got my green onions cut, I got my crawfish tails peeled, and I have my eggs ready. So now we're going to start. Now we're going to start the preparation of the omelet. Alright, so I'm going to get my skillet warm. And it doesn't have to be on a high flame. You can go on a medium flame and just allow it to heat up, and then eggs only take about 2.5 minutes to cook at the longest. This is a little bit of pure imported olive oil, and this is the mozzarella that I referenced earlier in the conversation. And I also have a little bit of dried parsley to go on with it as well. As you can see, I'm using a non-stick skillet. When that oil starts to run inside that skillet, then you know it's pretty much getting hot. Another thing you want to use anytime you're using a non-stick skillet, you want to use a rubber spatula, just so you don't scrape up anything out of the skillet, and so that you can fold or stir or do whatever it is to your ingredients without interrupting them, without scraping them up against the pot. All right. So this skillet is just about getting hot. Alright, so I'm going to go to a little bit of white onion first. When you hear that sizzle, you know you're on the right path. You want to always start off with a hot skillet. Alright. Only a touch of onion, that's all we need. Alright. Let me add a little bit more oil. The ingredients do absorb oil, so if you use a touch of it, you may have to add a touch again. Alright. You can also judge the heat by the bubbles coming out the skillet. I know that's high, but it could be more rapid, so I want to leave it just like that. I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper to that. As I said before, I season in layers. I'm going to add a touch of salt. Alright? Season your onions up. Alright? So right now those onions are slightly tender. Alright, I'm going to add my crawfish tails. As you can see, I don't have a lot. You don't necessarily need a lot. That's about 8 tails. Just going to saute them briefly just to get them hot. From now I'm gonna add my eggs, and then we're gonna let it roll from there. I'm gonna show you my preparation on that. Gaining my apprenticeship in the culinary industry, I was responsible for doing omelets in ballrooms of hotels around the New Orleans area. And I first got broken in during a Mardi Gras ball where Nicolas Cage was present. It was probably my first really great culinary experience. Now, as you can see, the outer rim of the skillet dried up first. All I'm going to do is just move it around a little bit. Let me give it a little stir just to get the onions in. While it's still wet, you can stir it, but as it starts to dry, you can't. Alright, so from there, I'm going to constantly reseal it. I'm going to go under it, lift, back down. Alright, you see how it's drying up? Alright, I'm going to give it a touch more pepper. Alright, now I'm going to get ready to flip in 1 second. Sometimes you break the middle, let the liquid break back down into it. Now we're almost ready for the flip. If your skillet don't have enough oil in it, and if it's not hot enough, it's not going to give you the flip that you're looking for. Alright, this one here is still a little soft. Alright, so we're going to shape it up a touch. Alright, just like that. Now we're going to go for the flip. Alright, very simple, alright? You can turn your heat off. Turn your heat off. We're going to add a little mozzarella to it. Then we're going to give it the French fold. By the time you finish doing what you're doing to it, the carryover cooking, which is from the skillet to the plate, is going to melt the cheese. So you don't necessarily have to do too much to it from there. Alright, you see that? Alright, so from here I'm going to show you my garnish. I'm going to put a little bit of green onion right on top. Alright? And from here, I'm going to take a regular Creole tomato, as I said before. This is perfect for Mother's Day. It's perfect for Father's Day, whatever occasion is coming up. If you just want to cook something nice for your significant other or your parent, you just start off with something like this, and it'll get the day started perfect. As you can see, I used the tip of my knife and went in there. All I'm going to do is follow the circumference of the tomato. Then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do from there. Alright? So as you can see, I'm just going around the tomato. You don't have to be a craftsman to do this trick right here. It's just something I learned in cooking school. I'm just going to continue to go around it until I just about reach the end. Okay, and that'll be fine right there. Alright, move my knives to the side. As you can see, that cheese is melting perfectly. The inside of that is going to be cheesy. It's going to be gooey. It's going to be an eruption of flavor. And it's going to be awesome. Alright, so all I did was take that same roll, that same strip, started with the base of it where I first made my initial cut, and I'm just going to wrap it around like as so. Gives the impression of a rose or some type of flower, and I'm just going to set it right there on the side of it. Crawfish omelet, very simple. 3 steps, garnish, enjoy.